Okay. Good evening, everybody. How are you? Thanks for you guys who are on the call. And obviously we'll be sharing this video out to the community tomorrow morning. So if anybody hasn't been able to make this call and is watching it and has any questions that they still want to have answered, then just feel free to message me or email me, and I'll be able to answer your questions, hopefully, if we get everything right. I'm going to do a couple of things tonight. I sort of had a bit of a loose plan of the things I was going to talk about, and then I open up the athlete guide, and that's pretty comprehensive. So I think what I'm going to do is just work my way through the athlete guide and just point out a few things that that I think would be worth making you aware of. I want to talk a little bit about the weather, what I see it'll be like this far out, and a little bit about the course as well. Obviously, this is the first time this bike course and essentially this run course to some degree has been used. And so it's important to just sort of understand how that may affect your race day. I'm expecting it to be quite different to previous years on the old course. I think this is actually a much tougher course that they've got now, and I've had a few people that have ridden the course fairly solidly in the last few weeks, and one guy who's got quite a lot of experience racing 70.3s said that he thinks it could be probably 10 minutes longer on the bike than the previous course. So I'm sort of estimating maybe 7 to 12 minutes depending on where you are on the field. So that's something to keep in mind. It's it's good to have that information going into the race, because you don't really want to throw your day away because you haven't really taken into consideration the course change. It's probably going to be slower than the previous years, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because we go into these races to race the course that's given to us, and this still doesn't mean that you can't do a PB, but it's just something that you need to be aware of, that is going to be one of those, possibly one of those slower days. But don't let that dispel you, because it's still going to be an awesome race. Or deter you. Probably need to use my words better. Anyway, the good news is, I'll share my screen. Good news is this far out, we're looking at, hope you guys can see that, some pretty sweet weather. It looks like, so as you can see, this is 7 a.m. on Saturday. There's a big empty blob over Lake Taupo, which is a great sign, big wide isobars. And so that means very, very light wind, very settled conditions. The wind, if anything, is going to be coming from the west. So that indicates it's still going to be a crosswind in both directions. And in parts of this course, as you know, it can still be quite exposed. So a very, very light crosswind can still feel like a bit more of a crosswind. But the good news is that it's not going to be super strong, but it's just going to be on the shoulder all day, basically. But the way this course goes with the road that winds its way down a little bit, there will be sections where you hit tailwind and headwind. And obviously, if you know when those bits are, that you can prepare for them. You know what's coming up. But yeah, I'm most excited that the weather is calm and is fine at this stage. Looks like there's no rain in the forecast. Doesn't mean to say that there won't be any rain, but at this point we're looking pretty good. One thing is that people know on a calm day, a clear calm day in Taupo often means a cold day as well. So it might be a little bit chilly in the morning, first thing. It might be a little bit cold when you're heading out on the bike, the first leg out to the turnaround. So just be aware that you could be dealing with a little bit of a cooler temperature down those sections. But I know that once you get moving into it, that colder air doesn't really bother too much. It's if it was raining and cold that would be more of an issue. and I've had it on pretty good authority from Cherie, who I think's on this call actually, that the lake temperature is certainly better than it was last year for the same time. So I think I heard someone say it was about 15 to 16 degrees, which isn't terrible. I think last year it was about 13 to 14 degrees. Oh. So yeah, it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be as cold as it has been. And fortunately, you're only doing 70.3, so it's not like last year where we had to do the IRONMAN in that very, very cold water. So that's pretty nice. Now, we'll come back to, we'll share the next screen in a minute. But yeah, so that's sort of where I want to park the conditions or the weather discussion, because I think that's probably enough that we need to know. Potentially a little bit cool in the morning, very, very light wind, but probably from the side the whole time. And it will probably get quite warm as the day goes on, but depending on what time you're going to be finishing, it may not actually get too hot. I think 23 degrees is the maximum temperature at this stage, which is pretty nice. So let's jump into this PowerPoint athlete guide that I have. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see that. There should be a presentation mode. Present. Here we go. I don't know if that helps at all or not, actually. Okay, so yep, everything starts happening day before the race, as you know. There's check-ins on Thursday. Most people are getting there Friday, Thursday night, which is absolutely fine. You can do everything that you need to on Friday, but if you are getting there on Thursday, then it's nice to check in earlier before everything sort of heats up and gets all full on and busy on Friday. So yeah, if you're getting in there on Thursday, jump in, check yourself in, get everything sorted out. Really important this time to be aware of the wetsuit, checking your wetsuit in. They're really strict for good reason on cleanliness of your wetsuit and making sure that you haven't swum in potentially polluted water where nasty things can get taken into our lakes and rivers in that area. So adhere to the wetsuit cleanliness instructions, and just educate yourself a little bit on that. It's a really important initiative. It's not done enough in other countries, some of the filthy waterways that we race in overseas. So yeah, it's good that IRONMAN New Zealand have always done this. So really important to be aware of that. But Thursday's pretty much pretty quiet, pretty standard. As I said, all the festivities start on Friday. So in the morning, we're actually having a swim, bike, run session for the foot traffic athletes at 8 o'clock from the swim start area. So you're welcome to come down and join us in that. Just meet some of the other people that are racing. And at that point, we'll talk a little bit more about the course. We'll be able to see the swim course laid out. I'll give you a few ideas on how I think you should approach it. And we'll also talk a little bit about the bike, and we'll have more information about the weather as well. So just a little bit more of a follow-up on what we're talking about tonight. That will finish, and then you can go off and do your check-in if you haven't done so already. Go and buy your merch, take your credit card, spend everything that you need to. But bike racking starts at 9 o'clock and goes through to 6:30. So you also collect your timing chip at that time as well. So you won't have it in your registration pack, but you'll have it when you go to check your bike in. There is a transition tour. I do recommend that people do that if they're not sure how the transition is laid out. It's one thing to keep in mind it's quite a long transition. It's not as long as it used to be when we were up by the Great Lakes Centre, but Kaimanawa Reserve is a bit of a shortish run from the lake's edge. It's probably about 400 meters, but it does go uphill, and it goes up quite steeply from the lake. So really important to check that section of the course out. Work your way through transition, get familiar with where your bike is, where the exits are, where the mount line is, and the dismount line, of course. And where you leave the transition to start the run. And then there's an opportunity. There's a few media things with the pros and stuff, which is always really cool. And the actual event itself on Saturday morning, it's an early start, as it is always with these events. Transition opens at 5, and the water opens at 6 a.m. So 6:15 for the pro men, 6:18 for the pro women. First age group athletes will roll out at 6:24, and that goes on for quite some time. It's a long process filtering those athletes in for the start, but just make sure that you are out of transition. It hasn't said what time transition closes, which is interesting, but I am certain that the transition will be closing at some stage before the age group wave starts. So hopefully they'll give us more information about that. If anyone knows, can you let the group know? But I'm pretty sure they will tell you at some stage that transition will close at some point. And then obviously once we have all finished, there's chill out area after the race, and bit of a barbecue by the looks of it with the event sponsor, and prize giving at 4:30, and then the roll down, which is really important because we all want to try and get spots for the 70.3 Worlds. For those of you who haven't got them yet, at 5:30. So make sure that you are present for roll down if you are wanting to chase a spot. Okay, work our way through some advertising. Here we go. Just familiarize yourself with the color of your bib and your swim cap. Make sure you've got the right one that suits. Make sure you have everything in your race pack that's listed on this sheet. In particular, the athlete wristband and the numbering tattoos, and just double check exactly where your number tattoos have to go. Right bicep or forearm if you're wearing sleeves, and the category on your left calf. I always forget to put the category one on, but secretly I don't, because I don't want people to know what age group I'm in. But then I do get in trouble for it occasionally. And that's just for teams, don't need to worry about that. So here's the layout of the transition. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward, but as I mentioned before, work your way through it and have a look at the position of your bike and everything like that. So work our way through, and I want to just get to the course details. Where are we? A stations, that's what I want to talk about. So the layout of the A stations is fairly uniform, but they can vary from time to time. So just make sure as you're coming into the A station, you know what you want, and you basically know the position of it. The location on the course is at 16K, 30K, 46K, 61K, 75K. So they're all approximately 18 kilometers apart, or 16 to 18 kilometers apart. And if you can have a closer look at the map, and if you are driving over the course beforehand, just try and visualize where those points will be. But once you've seen them in the first time, you'll know where they are after that. And then as they have laid out, the A stations will have water, Gatorade, Morton gels. You can't specifically ask for caffeine and non-caffeinated. They'll just give you whatever. Just grab it. It's just a gel. It's going to be great. High five bars, I found them quite nice. The Morton gels are really good because you can actually take them without water. So grab your gel, grab your bars, bananas, Coke. I'm surprised they're having Coke on the bike aid stations for the 70.3. I don't know if they have them on the first lap or if they have them on the early ones, but probably will have them on the later stations. But they normally don't hand out Coke earlier on the ride. And yeah, Vaseline, sunblock, and toilets. Don't know. It's an interesting order to have those in, but that's all right. And then the run, I couldn't quite. Yeah, so the two types of A stations. There's a run hydration A station, and then there's a run A station. So the hydration station is water, Gatorade, and Coke only. The A station is water, Gatorade, gels, bars, Coke, bananas, Vaseline toilets, sunscreen toilets. I don't really know why they've done that. I guess it's to spread things out a little bit, but they're all 2.5 k's apart. So you start out with an aid station 2.5 k's in, and then you got your hydration station at the 5k mark, another aid station, 7.5 k hydration, and just goes on for that for each lap. Just so you know what station you're coming up to, what order you need to prepare yourself, what you're going to have. And the fact that they don't have gels on every aid station, on the hydration station, I would pick up the way I would approach this, I would pick up a gel on the aid station, and as I come towards the hydration station, which is 2.5 k later, I would take that gel just before I get to it, grab a cup of water and drink it, take the gel down, and then as I go past the next aid station, I'll pick up another gel, have that at the following hydration station. So you basically pick up a gel, put it in your pocket, pulling it out before you get to the hydration station, grabbing the next one, and so on. It gets quite confusing, but it's actually a process that works quite well. And just make sure you're aware that you can't litter outside the aid stations, which is really, really important. So and it's the same on the bike, just discarding within the area of the aid stations itself. Don't litter. If you litter, you get a penalty. Okay, so we'll scroll through. It's going to be a rolling start, wetsuit start, wetsuit swim for sure. Rolling starts, you should know what zone you're going to be in. My recommendation for the rolling starts, if you're a confident swimmer, you should definitely go to the front. Kind of makes sense, but I did an experiment at 70.3 Cairns where I positioned myself at the back of the wave of the zone, thinking that I'd get this sweet draft on the way through and sort of work my way through the field, and it didn't really work out too well for me. I just kept on getting sort of blocked by other swimmers, and I didn't want to charge through like a raging bull, so I just sort of had to slow down and work my way around, and end up swimming quite a lot slower than I would have expected to. So I would suggest, if you are a strong swimmer, go to the front, put yourself in the race at that point. And if you find yourself to be a slightly weaker swimmer, then just be comfortable positioning yourself a little bit further back. And if you're not super confident, don't put yourself at the front of the group, at the front of the zone, because you will have a lot of people around you who are quite confident and sort of charging through. Personally, I'm not a fan of rolling starts. I actually think they create a lot more confusion, and they can be a lot more disruptive to the stronger and the weaker swimmers. But I think a mass start's a lot better for managing that sort of thing. But this is just the way IRONMAN do it now, so that's the game we play. But yeah, the rolling start's a really, really interesting component of the race, and it's just something you need to keep in mind, that anyone else on the race course has potentially started at a different time to you, so they're either ahead of you or behind you, and you don't really know. So if you are being competitive, and if you do want to race, put yourself at the front, and just assume that anybody who comes up to you behind you has caught up to you, and effectively they're ahead of you. So likewise, if you've caught up to people, then you know that you're ahead of them, and it's sort of the way to be competitive in these style races. You must wear the swim cap provided. Make sure you've had the right one, and that can help you sort of determine how you're going in your zone as well. If you start seeing other swim caps around you that have come from either behind you or you've caught up to, then it sort of gives you an understanding of how you're going at the time. The swim course itself, straight out, turn right, go down towards the yacht club, turn right, come parallel to the beach, turn left, straight into the beach. Very, very simple, very, very straightforward. 200 meters straight out, and before you take that right turn. And the good thing about that is you can basically use that as your opener. So you sort of swim pretty solid for the first 200, take that turn, then settle into your rhythm. You've got 800 meter stretch, 50 meters turn, 700 meter stretch, and then the last 150 into the beach. It's a really, really nice swim course. Those of you that haven't done it before, sighting is very, very simple. There's a lot of buoys, and it's easy to sort of position or understand where you are on the course by looking at landmarks on the cliff on the beach. So I think you'll really enjoy it. Very, very nice, clean water. Yeah, you can understand why people call it the best swim course in the world. It's for that exact reason. Scroll through the advertising. Cycle. So as we know, this is the new bike course. It's 2 laps of much of the hillier portion of the previous course. So some will like that, some won't like that. But what I do like about it is it just creates a completely new race for you guys. It's something that you won't be familiar with. No one is familiar with this. It's just going to be a completely new slate, a sort of clean slate. So the first section is you climb from transition up Rifle Range Road, up onto Spa Road and out towards the racetrack. So for the first turn at Centennial Drive, it's pretty much climbing the whole way. It's about 8 kilometers long, and there are some sections where it's a little bit steeper where you might be out of the saddle. But it's a pretty hard way to start the bike leg of the race. So just keep your effort in check. The more competitive people will sort of have an understanding of the power that they can push up there. But if you're not using a power meter or anything, I would err on the side of caution and just know that you've got to do that section again. And if you do push it too hard on the first lap, that second lap could be quite difficult. Nice little left turn down Centennial Drive. Careful on the turnaround. It is quite a fast descent, and there will be people, because it's a rolling start, possibly coming through you at speed. So just be really cautious in that turnaround. And coming back out onto Broadlands Road again. And you take another quick descent down, fast left turn onto View Road. Again, that's a pretty sharp corner, and some of you guys will be coming down that hill pretty quick. So just be really careful around there. And turn around at View Road, it's a slight uphill as you reach the turnaround. So again, it's a little bit more tricky. But as you turn back onto Broadlands Road again, it's pretty much downhill the whole way to the turnaround. It's very, very gradual descent in some parts, almost flat, but there's not really any incline, any climbing until the turnaround. You turn around and you come all the way back, straight back to the transition area to complete your first lap. And that's a pretty hilly. A lot of people will know what that ride back up Broadlands Road is like. It's a bit of a grind, it's a bit of a grovel. But if you've kept your energy in check, and if you've been really cautious, conservative on the first leg out, then that return journey shouldn't be too difficult for you. But it's going to be in the second lap where you start noticing the effect of that. And the really patient, cautious people will find that that's almost an advantage to them, because I think a lot of people are going to be blowing up on that return journey on that second leg. And if you've kept something in your back pocket to drive it home strong, you're going to be doing a lot of damage to people around you. One thing I would be really careful of is the faster the pro athletes on their second lap when you are on your first lap, because I think there might be a bit of crossover. And so you just know that there's going to be some riders that are probably going to be passing some of the back markers in the age group race at some stage. So just be really careful of passing traffic going in both directions. Keep aware of what's coming up behind you, what's ahead of you. Just everybody stay safe, please. Scroll down, run course. This is cool. It's a little bit different to those that have done the previous course, because this one you head out along Lake Terrace and come back along the footpath, whereas last year in the Ironman you go along the footpath, come back along Lake Terrace. I'm just trying to remember. Yes, you do, which means you have the hillier section at the start of the run, and then you have that long flat section along the footpath, which is a really, really nice section to run on. The difficulty will be when you start this run and you go down that, come out of transition, you take you turn onto Lake Terrace. It's pretty much downhill for the first section, and you can be going pretty quick down there, and then you hit the flat, and then you need to be aware that you are running on the flat there, and you do have to slow down a little bit just to dial it back a little bit and sort of ready yourself for the hills, because the hills can grind. It can take it out of your legs, and if you have started the run too fast, then it can be a sort of a bit of a difficult day for you. So keep things in control. It's 3 laps. Break it up into 3 sections basically, or break it up into 6 sections. First leg out, first leg back. For to complete your first lap, and then just each lap just build it yourself, and try and bring it home strong. The last part coming up to the finish line will be a slight uphill, which is really unkind of them, but that's what they're going to be doing. But it's just means you need to keep something in check for that last section. But it's a cool run course. Again, those of you that have done it before will know exactly what it's like. Nice little barbecue afterwards, prize giving, as I said. And that, I think, is pretty much takes me through everything I wanted to off the athlete guide. So now we can ask some questions if anybody has anything. A couple other little tips that I have for this race in particular would be really efficient on the bike. It's obvious it's a hillier ride, so you don't want to be carrying more equipment than you need to. You don't want to be weighing your bike down with too many drink bottles, because you can pull drink bottles off the course. Really be smart and minimal on the spare tubes or the canisters that you're carrying. Try to avoid carrying anything that's too heavy, and just be really, really smooth and efficient in terms of aerodynamics. So when you are on the flat, be in the aero bars. If you're going downhill, use the descent really well to conserve energy, or even build up some speed if it's something you want to do. But there's sections of this course which can be done really, really well, and some that can be done quite poorly if you haven't sort of thought through too much. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how everybody goes, because it's as I say, it's a new course. I've got a fair idea of what sort of times we'll be seeing coming out from people, but it's going to be really interesting to see what each people find they've done in this year compared to the previous years. So we got any questions from anybody here? Well, that's pretty good. How about I unmute you just in case anybody is asking, but they don't?
Yeah, I've got a question. Like, you've referred to the faster guys coming down on top of us age groupers.
Yep.
Now, what precautions can we take? Because we can't see them coming.
No.
And they're coming full tit.
Yeah, so they'll be given pretty strict instructions to be really, really careful at that section. So they will basically ride the center line, or just inside the center line. They won't be sticking to the left side of the road. So you can pretty safe to assume, because they actually can't slingshot off slower riders. That's a rule that you're not allowed to do. So they'll have to be pinning it basically down the middle of the lane that you're in.
Yeah.
The only thing I would be aware of is you're coming up to an aid station, because obviously they'll have to move left to pick up aid. And that might be where as I come to an aid station, I always sort of look back anyway to make sure who's around me. If I'm at the back or the front of the group, you can sort of figure out how you're going to do this. And if you take a quick glance back, see that there's someone coming, look like they're coming pretty fast, then it might be something to just be aware of, that they may come shooting past you, sort of cut inside, grab a bottle, and they're off again. But yeah, I wouldn't want you to be riding along looking backwards every 3 seconds, because
coming back from White Road back into town, there's some quite deep ridges and potholes.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask if you're
going to have to go over to the right.
Yeah, I wonder if they may actually. I'll talk to Wayne. I'll see if they're going to highlight those anyway. Put some markings on the road. So again, that's, if you can see it's coming up, that's another chance. Just have a quick look back, see if no one's there, and you can rip through.
Okay.
Are there any other areas of rough roads, Sheree? Have you ridden much on there?
And no, it's only that little patch coming back into town.
Okay. And where approximately is it?
Come back from White. It's sort of up by Wairaki.
Oh, okay.
You can see it. It's quite obvious.
Yep. Okay. I think a good recommendation is to drive over the course for anybody who hasn't seen it. for a while, just to have a quick look at how things are. And yeah, those certainly something you don't want to hit when you're not expecting it. Tell me about the
if
lake.
I can just add my 2 cents to the being safe with people coming up from behind you. I mean, it should just be the first lap for age groupers, just because that's the overlap. Basically, you should be passing people, or they should be passing you. It's be more cautious on that first lap. And the main thing in my eyes is just be smooth and predictable in what you're doing, and be as far left as you can, as is safe. You know, we don't want you riding in those potholes, because that's not safe. But as long as you're predictable in your movements and as far left as you can, so there is as much space as you can reasonably give, then you're giving all opportunity to the faster person to get past you cleanly. It's just making sure that you're making it as easy as you can for people to be safe around you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool, good point.
Cherie, what was the water like? You swam in it the other day?
It was colder last night than it was last week.
Oh, okay. What happened last night? Did you have a snowstorm?
Don't know.
Not as bad as last year, though, eh?
No.
That was terrible. Oh, well, that's good. And has it been nice and calm?
Yesterday was flat as a pancake.
Oh, brilliant.
I think last week it was rough as.
Okay. I think the wind is perfect for a nice flat course, so that'd be good. That'd be lovely. Okay, anybody else got any questions? If not, we'll park it here. But like I say, we've got the session on Friday morning. Jump onto the membership site, go to the events calendar. Details will be on there. Add yourself. I haven't actually put the exact location of where we're meeting yet, because I just wanted to get down there and see what the layout will be, so I can decide where we'll catch up, because I'd like to actually swim the first part of the course from the start, but I just got to get down there. And actually, no, they wouldn't have set anything up yet anyway, but if I can figure that out, then I'll add that to the event details. And so if you are coming along, just keep an eye on that. If you do have any questions, please just fire away, hit them at me. I'm not racing, but I'm going to be down there watching. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fantastic, and I just wish everybody good luck. And it's been I can't believe how quickly this year's going now. Actually, I mean, it was only only a few days ago that we were talking about the summer season's finally upon us, and here we are in mid-December almost. So actually, early December. We'll be mid-December very soon. But it's just this year's going quickly. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how everybody goes. Lots of people have been training really well. Had some great feedback on how people's training plans, people following the membership plans have been going. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good to see how it all unfolds. So thanks for jumping on, team, and I'll see you in a couple of days.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks very much for that.
Stay safe, everyone.
See you.
See ya.